All right, we're live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to IBM Developer Online Meetup. Today is our fourth webinar with Hair Technologies in the Tech at Home series. My name is Upkar. I'm a developer advocate at IBM, and I'll be your host for today. Again, thank you very much for joining us today, as you have on the previous Tuesdays. As usual, we have my partners in crime, Vedhan and Mohammed from Hair Technologies, and today,
Hey,
very hey. Uh, Also, very excited and fortunate to have Fawaz on the call today. Fawaz is a brilliant developer advocate from IBM. I've worked with him before, and today the team is going to share with us some code on, I believe, visual recognition and creating applications using Here APIs on the IBM Cloud Platform. So, as usual, you'll get plenty of resources during the event. So no need to take notes. We'll also send out an email with all of the links we share with you and additional resources at the end of the event. The webinar is being recorded as usual. The replay will be available immediately after the event ends on the same URL you're on right now. We'll also, of course, send the recording link in the email. If you want to watch the previous three events in the series, they're also available on our Crowdcast page, and I'll make sure that I paste the link in the comment section. By the way, if you see IBM developer icon on the top, you can click on the follow button, and that way you get notified when we put up new events and when the events start. If you're new to IBM Developer Network, we are a team of developer advocates from across the world, and we currently host a lot of online events, a lot of developer education events, and hopefully we'll go back to in-person lunch and learns and workshops in the near future. But for now, it's all online, which is great. We get to reach a lot more people, make new friends. A couple of guidelines for the event today. Feel free to use the chat functionality to say hello, discuss topics relevant to this meetup. If you have any questions, there's an ask a question button at the bottom. That way, your questions get tagged with the timestamp. So when people come later and they want to quickly see the answer, they can click on your question. Finally, at the bottom of the screen, you'll see a survey button. We did this last time and we got very good feedback from the audience. So, especially today, please make sure you click on that survey link during, in the middle, after the webinar, and let us know what you think. That's the only way we can improve moving forward, and we love to hear from you. So with all of that being said, I'm going to disappear from the screen and pass it over to the team.
yeah, so thank you very much. So hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you are there. So we are back to yet another exciting webinars. So today we have the artificial intelligence with IBM technology and the location intelligence with Here technology. Let me give you a quick introduction to the team. So we have Muhammad Fawaz Siddiqui. He's the IBM developer advocate. He's our genius coming from IBM. Help us today with the Watson. It's a very AI-oriented technology. We have Vidhan, senior developer evangelist. From here, he will go through the location intelligence and how you can use location technology services in your code, and myself. So Code for Code, that's the purpose. We need your support. We need your help to join the fight. Let me introduce Fawaz to give us more insight on this. Fawaz, please.
Hey everyone, good evening, good morning,
Hey.
good afternoon, depending on what geo you're located in. So as you know, IBM has this global challenge every year, Call for Code. And we work on, as a community, we actually work on fighting fighting the latest issues which we face in the world every year. And this year, our energy sustainability and recently we have added the COVID-19 pandemic, and we have crisis communication, remote education, community cooperation. By participating in Call for Code, you join a movement of 210,000 plus problem solvers, 165 nations, and a part of around 8,000 plus applications built. You have a chance to win 200,000 US dollars, support from Linux foundations, meetings with the potential investors towards your idea. Not only that, you also get support through code and response. Just to let you know, this is the final call for code, as all the submissions will close on July 31st. And for those who are taking part, good luck. Hopefully your solutions will be amazing. We are really excited to see them. Over to you again, Mohammed.
Yeah, thank you very much. So 200 grand, it's not a small one, yeah? People need to work hard to make it happen. So few days for the submission. So today here Technology are part of the Catalyst sponsors. So we are here to help you along with IBM and the rest of the partners to flourish this type of challenge that we have, climate and the COVID-19. Just to give you a bit of insights. So the impact of the COVID-19 at this point of time is $11.5 trillion, and we may like invest fraction out of it just to prevent it. So please, we need your help. Let's be cautious on what will happen next. We have no clue what will happen next. So join the fight and join us for the call for code. So today we'll have a brief activity for AI meeting the location intelligence. We'll go for the introduction, hands-on with the expert from IBM and the expert from here. And also we have what's next and Q&A session if you have any questions. So we are happy to hear your feedback. The survey link is there. The chat box as well is there. So if you have any questions, anything that we can share with you, please let us know. We need to get your voice out. So why we are here, I will not go through the text. That the image recognition is really hard. Human being with the eyes on and the human brain can manage to understand the whole image processing and the context behind it. So the whole purpose now is how we can have a machine with a deep learning, machine learning, and AI can do this type of functionality for the autonomy for the next or future solutions that we need to target and aim, and also how to couple this with the location intelligence. So the whole purpose is to enable you with a new way of thinking, a lot of tools that we have today. So we'll have the IBM Cloud, we'll have the Watson Studio, Python, here technologies, and Cloud Foundry. A lot of information will be shared with the experts from IBM and here. So please stay tuned and stay with us. This is a very top level solution architect, how we will integrate the Watson Visual Recognition with the here technology using Python on top of the IBM Cloud to enable you to have a very decent use case. So today we'll have a visual view of within your home. If you need to have any pictures for the food delivery, with the whole COVID pandemic, everyone's sitting at home doing the bunch of click for the delivery. So if you need to have any food, pasta, you name it, pizza, you name it, all what we need to have is one click with the pictures, and boom, you can see all the store nearby and click, I need this one. It will be as simple as this. So please stay tuned with Fawaz. He will give you the introduction for the IBM Cloud and how to unleash the power of AI with the Watson. Fawaz?
Thank you so much, Mohammed, for such a warm welcome. So let's talk a bit about Watson Visual Recognition Service. So when we talk about visual recognition, what do we look at? We look at image trained models. We look at we look at actually creating classifications for your images. So what does IBM Watson Image Recognition give you? It gives you the ability to have pre-trained models. We have a food model, we have a car recognition model, we have so many models which are already out of the box for you, making your work easy. And that's how we are actually, and today we will be using the food model itself to show you how easy it is to make that such a hard task of image recognition easier than what do you say, than we think it is. So we don't really need any coding here. All you have to do is upload your images, get your APIs, and that's about it. Sorry, Mohammed, can you go to the previous slide? I'm really sorry. Yeah. Okay. So it support there's support for GDPR. There are SDKs for various languages which you are actually experienced in. We have Python, Swift, Android implementations, Java, and also it comes with other languages such as .NET if you're interested in that. And technically, what you do is you make an API call to your endpoint, and it gives you the result of what image you're actually trying to classify. You can go to the next slide. So what does Watson Visual Recognition focus on? So first of all, it focuses on the identification. It identifies objects and people. The categorization of what category does this image belong to. Maybe if I'm uploading a pizza, pizza belongs to food. That's our category. Food is a category. We also it also allows us to assess for better problem solving. As you can see in the image, it's checking that, hey, where is the problem occurring? And not only that, it also gives you recommendation for faster decision making. And in today's day, decisions count a lot. The time you take for a decision, it is very important. And with the help of Watson image recognition, you're able to take those decisions, those recommendations, and include it, and also in our case today, included with different APIs to get more results about what food do you actually want and the places around you for food. So let's move on towards the hands-on section. So I'm going to share my screen now. Right. So Mohammed will be pasting the links of this while I present. So first and foremost, like for those who are new here, for those who have been with us through all these webinars, thank you so much. And so the first task is always the first task. Sign up for IBM Cloud, sign up for Here Tech as well, because we'll be using both the APIs. So you can go to catalog, and IBM Cloud is a cloud platform with more than 160 services, and it gives you the flexibility to play around with those services, get them to a point where you can actually integrate them with other external services as well. So if you can see the services here, we have a lot of services, and today what we are going to use is visual recognition. So I'm going to search for visual recognition. Just give me a minute. And we will be using IBM Watson Visual Recognition, and it is supported in different regions. And to create the service, just select your region, select the light plan, just rename your service. I'm going to call it FAS. Mine is already created, so I won't be recreating it again. But like the process is similar for you. All you have to do is create. So easy. Right after that, you can search for your visual recognition. It will take you to the visual recognition page, which you can actually access like this. So you open up the visual recognition dashboard, and you can actually just you can actually look into the getting started plan. So you have a lot of different ways to query your APIs and get results, and the probability for how probable is that image to what you're actually trying to classify. So let's open up the instance.
So nice. So it's very visual and easy. We don't need to have any hardcore coding or like deep learning algorithm or fancy things. Yeah. So Watson will do it all for us.
Exactly. It's all done for you. And even if you're trying to classify a custom model, you can actually just upload the images, and the Watson image recognition will actually train itself to give you a result for a particular class. So maybe you have a class for cars, and you can store those cars images of those cars there, and it will classify it for you. So as you can see, you can create custom models. You can also build a custom model for image classifiers. And we have some pre-built models which you can use. So today we will be using the food model, but other than that, we have general model, we have an explicit model, which allows us to filter explicit content, and we have furthermore coming in. So as we're using the food model, we can copy the classifier ID and we can also test it here. But what we did is we integrated it with Here Maps API. And let me show you how easy it is. So first and foremost, we have actually there's a GitHub repo for how you actually implement this solution. So it's right here, and we are going to interact with test.py for the case of visual recognition. And let me open that. So all you need, so there's the code, okay, which actually tells you, first and foremost, let me start with the authentication. From here, all you need is the IBM Visual Recognition API key and the IBM service URL. And how do you get that? Very simple. You actually go to your credentials, and you can just open the auto service generated credentials. You can get the API key from here, right here, and you can get the service URL from here. And all you need to do is just paste it here. So you paste the API key here, and you paste the service URL here. Moving on, today we'll be classifying a pizza picture. So that is already stored in my working directory, from where it actually uses the visual recognition classify API and matches the
Nice.
threshold of 0.6, and we give it a classifier ID food. Now food is already built for us, so we didn't have to really make a new classifier ID for it, and we're getting the result and storing it in a particular array. Right after that, we state our latitude and longitude, and then it is rendered into a map. So here maps will be coming in at this point for us, where we actually look into how we can mark those places with pizza on the Here Maps APIs.
Nice. So is it pepperoni, margarita, Hawaiian? I'm really start to feel hungry.
Exactly. So I'm gonna start sharing my screen, and over to you, Vidhan.
Thank you, Fawaz. Hello, everyone. I am Vidhan, and I hope you all are well and safe. And I'm going to share my screen. Just a sec here. So I'm going to talk about the scenario, the use case, and I'm going to walk you through the code where we are building the map. So what Fawaz explained is how we acquired a certain value. Let me show it to you. From here, we have acquired the value. We have simply passed this output. We have queried that, and we have acquired it. And after that, we are also passing latitude, longitude. That is basically your location. Ideally, if you're creating an application, you want it to be fetched by your device. But since it's a demo one, so we have hard-coded it. And this is for Bangalore location, the lat long that you're seeing on your screen. And what we are doing is we are simply running a Flask web application, and we are rendering an HTML page, which is map.html. So all the, you can see that here related API calls and here related stuff, creation of map is done on our HTML page in JavaScript. And there are three parameters that we are passing in this. One is your latitude, second is longitude, and lastly, the query, the food that you got recognized by visual recognition library of IBM Watson. Now, on our map.html, you'll see a bunch of things, right? In the head, you'll see a bunch of tags, meta, script, link. So what we are doing here is basically we are using map library, which is built in JavaScript for accessing here APIs. So all the application programming interfaces that we have to access all our location services is what we are importing here so that we can access it later in our code. After that, in head, we have defined that. In body, we are simply defining two containers. First div is for showing our map. And second div is basically for showing the button. The button value you can see is show restaurants. And when it clicks, you are going to see the restaurants with which are serving that particular food. And for that, we have a method called show restaurants. To start with our code, there are three things which we are passing on from our Python code with the help of Flask. And these are, again, your latitude, longitude, your location, and the query parameter, which we are going to pass to our API. And it's going to give us return, or it's going to return us back the results which we are going to exploit or use. First thing that you need to do when you are working with your or location services is you need to grab the API key. In this case, we are using JavaScript API key. So for that, all you need to do is you need to go to our portal. That is our developer portal, and you have to simply sign up. And this developer portal is basically your one-stop shop for all your location-based needs and requirements. It covers everything. Whether you're talking about routing, whether you're talking about telematics, whether you're talking about creating a map, an interactive map, you're talking about all the stuff like sensing traffic, weather data, everything you can find here. All you need to do is you need to sign up on this. Provide your name, first and last name, provide your email ID, create a password, and simply confirm that you are not a robot, and then you can sign up. And the best thing is that we have a very flexible, a very useful freemium account, which does not require your credit card details and gives you around 250,000 transactions per month. That is data transactions. Once you create it, all you need to do is you need to sign in. I'm going to sign in, and I'm going to show you what you're going to see. Once you sign in, it's going to take you to a project page. And when you are on a freemium account, you can only create one project. See, I'm also on a freemium account, and your project name might be different. You'll click on here, and here you'll find a lot of, you can say that, credentials building capabilities. And what it shows is that you can build a mobile application, right? If you scroll down, you'll see here SDK for Android, iOS, Flutter. So basically, you can create a mobile application, whether it's a native application, Android or iOS, or you can build a hybrid application like Flutter. You can go for your REST API. If you want to simply call the results in JSON format or XML format, and you want to use it in your code, you can do it with the help of REST API. But here, what we're going to do is, since we are working on a web page, we're creating a web page, we're going to stick with JavaScript. So you have an option of generating JavaScript API key. All you need to do is you need to click on Create API Key, and you'll get the API key. I can show it to you. Let me show it to you. Okay, you must be thinking that I have shared it with you, but no worries, I can simply delete it or disable it, so nobody will be able to misuse it. Okay, so you need to copy this, and you need to paste it in the code that we have shared, the GitHub link. And this part of code is basically initializing your map. You can say that your platform on which you're going to build map, and initializing the platform object with API key that we have just acquired. And after that, we have these lines of code. Let me scroll. Now, these particular lines of code, what it is doing is basically it is calling the map from here server. Okay, so we are creating, you can say that we are passing few of the variables. We are passing our position. That position is actually where do we want our map to be centralized. Okay, and that position is what we have passed in our Python code. Apart from that, we are defining what kind of map you want to see. So it's a default map, which is a vector map, and it's showing a daytime. Apart from that, what zoom level you want to see. So I've defined it as 15. You can vary it from 1 to 20. Once you have created a map object, an object of map class, and you have initialized it with your container. This is a container that we have defined above, and you have defined the layer, you have defined the zoom level and the location. Next, what you can do is you can basically define your view controls. Right. Now, these view controls are basically your zoom in, zoom out, and your change of the view. Let me show you how it's going to look like. So this is what you are going to see with your icon. We have not created this icon till yet. But this is what you want to see, and this is the view control, which is zoom in, zoom out, and this is the view which you can toggle. You can see the satellite view, you can have the traffic condition. In the later part of the code, if you want to have drag and move feature, this is the part of code that we use for dragging our marker, moving around in the code. That is, if you want to move it like this, that particular 2 lines of code does that. And which is your map events, and you are defining the behavior in map events. After that, what we want to do is we are basically looking for places or restaurants nearby us, the latitude, longitude that we have shown, which serves that particular food. In our case, it is pizza. So for that, we need to initialize the get search service. And we have created a variable called service for that, for accessing all these services. So we have done that. We'll be using it. Now, next part is creating an icon or showing an icon at the center of your map, the location that we have passed from our Python code. And for that, you simply have to create a folder in your place where you had created it, all the applications or all the structure of applications. So we prefer to create a static folder, and you can put your images here. It's the best practice of creating a static folder when you are working on this. And our map.html file is inside the template folder. Do remember to keep your HTML file inside the templates folder, because your Flask only searches for templates folder, and inside that only it will search for HTML code. So a lot of times we as a developer, we miss that. So do not miss that. Once you have defined the location of your icon, the next thing is what you need to do is you need to pass this icon as a marker to your map. That is what we are doing. We are simply defining it as a marker with the help of marker class object. And then we are adding this marker to the map with the help of map object that we created above. Once you have this, that basically completes this part, which shows a map with a home icon at the center, with drag capabilities and with controls at the bottom right. That is zoom level and switching between the views. Next, what we want to do is we want to show something or show the restaurants or results on clicking this show restaurants button. So for that, what we are doing, we are simply creating a variable param, and we are passing a bunch of values to it. The values are the location, the lat long. Now these are the variables that we need to pass to our service, to our API, which I'm going to explain you after this. And you need to pass your query, and the query that we have got is pizza, which our visual recognition model recognizes. And then we are limiting the outcome or output to 10 values. Now you can vary it. You can have it like 30 values. You can have 5 values. It's up to you how many values you want your user to see. Okay. And after you have defined the parameters, you simply have to call the browse feature of our API, our service, and you have to pass params. You have to pass display restaurants, which basically is going to define more features, and alert if there are any. Now, let's talk about the API or the JavaScript part that we are working on. Let me open the documentation. Whenever you are working on your platform or your portal, the best place to learn and to develop something is documentation. All you need to do is you need to go to documentation, and you need to search for geolocation, geocoding and search API, basically. The API that we are using is geocoding and search, and the endpoint that we are using is called discover. So you want to click on JavaScript because we are working on JavaScript. Once you click on this, you will reach to geocoding and search part, and you'll find a lot of features here, a lot of things that you can do, a lot of things that you can build, and you'll have a lot of sample codes. You can find it on our GitHub. I'll share at the end of the session the links to those. And apart from that, you want to look for documentation consisting of our APIs. Let me show you one of the API to just give you a view of how our output looks like. Let's talk about the API here, which we are going to use or which we are using. Click on Quick Start Guide. You see that this is the Discover API, which takes following parameter: location, that is latitude, longitude; query, which in our case is pizza; and limit, to limit our results. And in our case, we are limiting it to 10. And then, of course, API key, but we don't have to pass it since we are working on JavaScript. Okay, so that is how your API basically looks like. Further moving on in the code, our display function is handling the response, or what is going to happen when you get the response. And response in our case is going to be in JSON format, which will be the values of 10 restaurants which are serving the pizza. Now, what do you want to do next? Whenever I click on Show Restaurant button, I would want to see places which serve pizza with an icon. So I need to add an icon. That is what we are doing here. Again, I have simply kept pizza icon.png file in static folder, and I'm simply accessing it and assigning it to my icon variable or icon method, you can say that. And then I'm calling a rest group, which is basically a huge group to which we keep on adding things to finally show it on a map. So we are going to bundle everything into our group method. Next, what you need to do is we need to go through all the results, and we need to call the values of the results, and we need to put our marker on all the points where results are being shown on all the latitude longitude of the 10 results. For that, we are simply running an iteration or a for loop where we are talking about response.items.length. We are calculating the length, and we are simply iterating through all the elements of this particular JSON response. And then we are creating two variables to assign one, or to fetch the position of each value that we are getting. And second, we are also fetching the address of our output. After that, we are simply passing them, all these values, to again our marker method. And we are passing, apart from that, to the marker, we are also setting the data. What data you want to show when you click on those icons. Let me show you what we are expecting so that you have a better view. So when you click on Show Restaurants button, you're supposed to see these markers, these icons. And when you say click on this icon, you can see it says Pizza Hut, Whitefield, Bangalore 560066. And you should be able to see all these icons. So that is what we are expecting. Now, coming back to the code, next, we need to add an event listener, because what we want is when we click the pizza icon, it should show something. It should show an info bubble or a dialog or a pop-up. And this dialog is what we call info bubble. So we are adding a tap feature. We can tap it and it's going to pop up info bubble. And in that, we are simply calling info bubble, and we are defining the geometry, and we are passing on the data to it. And then we are adding it to our UI. Remember, this UI is basically your zoom level and your view. That is the UI object that we have. And then everything which we have added, we are passing it to the group object. That is rest group. And finally, that object is what we are adding to our map. That's all. Now, let me show you how the results are going to look like. Let me show it to you here. If you talk about your visual recognition output, the output, just a sec. Okay, so this is our print query, and I'm going to show you the output. We're running the code. Now, what it's doing is basically showing you the values. Okay, I'll have to call it again. Okay. So this is the output that we are getting, that is pizza. Now I'm going to uncomment this. This is where you'll see all the heavy stuff. Let me run this again. Now, if you are thinking about what kind of response we are getting, then the response that we are getting from visual recognition library is something like this. Let me expand this. it's being classified as food because we have defined that. We are basically going through a pre-built food library, and it's showing two responses: pepperoni pizza and normal pizza. And ideally, what you should be doing is you should be comparing these score. The one with the higher score says that it has higher probability of a match. So in this case, the high probability is of this 0.918, and that is what we are using.
No, but at least he managed to get the pepperoni. Yeah, so that's a bit of advantage.
That's a plus. Now, when we were creating this use case, what we had in mind was to create something which solves the current scenario. And the current scenario, whenever I open app like Zomato, or whenever we open an app like Zomato, is going to the food, searching all those things. Instead of that, what we thought that how or why not we simply upload an image that we have in our mobile, and then we pass it on to the application, and then application, instead of me writing the text, application matches it with its huge database using visual recognition, and then searches restaurant for us. And that will save a lot of us time, and that will serve already a hugely growing industry, that is food industry. For example, you have one of the company that NOON, Noon, which has come up as a food aggregator, and the market is growing like anything. And this could be a great use case for you to discover, especially in call for code. Over to you. Or do I have any slide left? Okay, there are a few things that I would like to tell before closing. So you can work with JavaScript for creating a web page. You can work with REST APIs if you want to simply go for Python, Java, any programming language you're looking for the result. Or if you are looking for creating a mobile application, you can simply go for this SDKs.
We have a question. I think we got answer from Fawaz about the Python. If we have Python, why we didn't use the REST immediately instead of using the Java script? So yeah, we have the REST and we have the Java.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So if we completely rely on using the REST API, then you'll have to pass a lot of values to your HTML page. So this column is going to look a lot bigger than this, because we are talking about 10 items that we want to pass on to our HTML page. So that won't be a good practice, one. And second, it will be best to handle all these complexities when you're talking about layer on layer, like map layer, default layer, UI layer. It's better to keep it at one place to get more, you can say that, accurate results programmatically.
Cool. Okay.
Let me open the slides. So if you talk about geocoding and search, what else you could have done or you should do if you're planning to take it up a notch in this code is, instead of providing the hard-coded values of latitude, longitude, you should simply provide a feature where you are sending the address, and now here your API can be used, right? Where you are providing the address, and then you call here Geocoding API that converts your address into lat long. And then you pass the lat long from here and then pass it on to your Flask application. Now here you can use the...
So just quickly, in the polling, we have 8 people. 6 managed to know how to use location services. I think they are familiar with the Geocode as a concept. And there is 2, they don't yet do the location services. So can you give us more insight? What's the Geocode? What's the purpose of the geocoding?
Okay, so we all have used ride-hailing applications, right? Where we open our mobile application, we simply, instead of giving the latitude, longitude, we simply write the address, and then that address, source and destination, especially destination, you see a marker there. Now, how does it work? So basically your address are getting converted into latitude, longitude. And then that latitude, longitude, as we have plotted here, is getting plotted on your mobile application's map as a marker. And that is what your geocoder basically do. It converts your string text address into latitude, longitude that you can use to plot on a map. So that is your geocoder. Then we have reverse geocoder. Say that your application is running you back latitude, longitude, and you want to convert it into an address. you use reverse geocoder. Another part of API that we have is called auto suggest. Whether say you're writing some address and you want it to give you hint, or you want it to give you an autocomplete feature. For that we have auto suggest. Okay, these are the APIs that we have discovered. This is something that we just now used, where we are discovering places nearby, say pizza or coffee shops, and it's going to return us the result. Geocode basically converts your string into addresses. Autosuggest completes it. Browse is something which is quite interesting, is where instead of providing the name, what you do is you are providing the levels where you basically want to define how you want your results. Let me show it to you. And it has different levels or categories, we can say that. Basically, you are fine defining or fine graining the output that you want. Let's say, for example, you want to define a fine dining place, then you have 100, -1000, -2000, or 0002. Let me go to a place which shows it perfectly. Sick. Oh, yeah, this is it. So we have these two things. Okay, so what we are doing is we are categorizing it into 3 levels. And just to give an idea, if you want your user, let's say that you are talking about food application like Zomato or Ola or Uber Eats, and you want your results to be only specific to eat and drink and restaurants, then you can fine define it. 100 is the value that you give for eat and drink, and then later on you can define it like that. In that way, your results will be quite accurate, quite on the mark. You'll hit the bullseye when you are using it to create your application. And let's say that you want to go for fine dining, then you're 100 -1000 -0002. 100 is for your dine or your what do you call eat and drink, and then 1000 is for restaurants, and so on and so forth. You can use these features. That is your geocoding and search. Sharing the link. Okay, let me show you, or let me walk you through. Okay, I think that will be all from me. Handing over to Mohammed.
Yes, thank you very much. So I think we had a decent appetite now. So I was like, I'm looking to order pizza, just waiting to finish and then maybe like hit the order. So can I share the screen? Can
Please.
you give me yeah?
I think you should be able to.
So I think you need to stop sharing. I will be there.
Done.
Awesome. Thank you. So you can see my screen now. So I think most of you are hungry, yeah? But before jumping to the food, so please, it's a small game, nothing fancy. If you have your phone, your browser there, whatever, anything. So we need to go to menti.com, menti.com, and then go to the room number 694052. So if you are not following with me, if you have your phone, your desktop, your laptop, I'm not sure if the smartwatch it has a browser, but you can play with it. So go to the menti.com and jump to this room number. Yeah. So here's the link. Will be on. Yes. Thank you, Fawaz. So all ready?
All right, so I'm gonna share my screen as well because the
Yeah,
results.
sure.
Screen. Okay. So just give me 1 minute.
So I can
Right.
jump in as well.
Really excited for this one. So we have
Yeah,
for players.
only
So
4. Come
yeah,
on.
come on, guys, let's join. It's not that hard. I'll join with you guys if you want. So it's menti.com and the room number is 694052. And you guys can just join and we can play a very small little quiz. So let's wait for like 2 minutes and then we can start.
So only 5. What?
6 now. We have 6 people.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times we figure out that, okay, if you're building something with image recognition and you want to integrate location services, then I would like to tell that it was one of the smallest code that we wrote, actually, to be honest. And it took us less time in writing it and more time in brainstorming what could be the use case. So that is something that I would suggest you try it out and see if you can build something out of it.
So what I really like, I'm not a coder, yeah. So I'm not like genius like these guys on the on the room. So it's a very simple approach. You are using the visual recognition service, which is already up and running. Get the data via Python to here API, and then get the location. It's as simple as this.
Precisely.
The description is So the description is like few building blocks, and boom, you have something working. Yeah. So you can imagine now in your phone screen. Yeah. So you're browsing the Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, and you have really pizza. Yeah. And you need to order it. So instead of going into a lot of cycles, take a screenshot and order. Yeah. As is like it can be integrated with Alexa, for example, or Siri or any assistant there, and the order is there. It's as simple as this. You don't need to have to open the app to search, to look around you, get the price, get the description. Yeah, all that steps is like few n. So we have 8.
All right. I think we should start now. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyone wants to join? Last call. As Upkar said, you have the bragging rights for the next 4 events. Okay, I'll wait for 1 more minute and we can stop.
So the winner will get a pizza. Don't ask me how. We have someone from Mexico, Palestine, Egypt, Dubai. It's like everywhere. We'll get you a small pizza or maybe slice of pizza, pepperoni.
We'll get it delivered to you. Oh, you mentioned pizza. People started joining. Okay.
I'm also interested in joining.
Yeah, I think I'll join.
That was quite enticing.
All right. I think we're gonna start now. We are crossing 1 minute, so let's go. I'm gonna start it.
Yeah.
So as fast as you answer, the more points you get. So make sure you're fast.
Oh, nice. Mm-hmm. So playing with the color codes as well.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now we are gonna go to the next question, and let's see who came to the leaderboard actually. So,
Ooh,
pizza is
pizza.
I like the name.
We're actually very excited about doing. I'm sure half of the attendees are gonna have pizza right after this.
Yeah. And yes. Ooh. I think we need to add routing next time. Yeah, like it's not only decoding and search.
Ooh, that just came the fastest. Very nice.
Sharif,
Right. Question. Last question, guys.
did he know the answers?
Let's see who gets this. Ooh, everyone was correct. Okay, except one. Okay. And let's see who's the winner, actually. Oh, Galilu, you just won.
Close call, though.
So I will order
Well done,
pizza for
gentlemen.
myself. So thank you guys.
Okay. Oh, back to you again. And
Yeah,
thank you.
thank
For
you.
it was actually fun. And Sharif, good job as well. George, good job as well. Everyone, good job.
Alfonso,
Really, Alfonso, always amazing to have you here. Like I mentioned, really good job. Pizza as well. Really good play, guys. Really enjoyed it. Let's start with Mohammed. Back over to
yes.
you.
So what's next? So for me, I will get the pizza first, just to make sure that I'm already on the line. So it is the location, yeah. So part of the discussion today, there's a lot of technologies happening there, but it is the when, the how, the where. There is a lot of questions that we need to answer to get this type of location intelligence out of it. So today we had the AI meeting the location intelligence. On the past 3 sessions, please find it on the crowdcast. The recording is there. It's very informative. We have a lot of information from location technologies, the Node.js, IBM Cloud as well, and a lot of information that you can have. And we still more to come. So in August, we have 4 sessions as well happening. So please stay tuned. Every Tuesday we'll be there. On the last events, we have a decent crowd, especially the first one apparently is what it was the introduction. The next one as well, the third one, it's with your support we are here. And here's the thing. Today it was AI, and the next is the IoT. So we'll have an introduction for the Watson Iot platform and how we can integrate this with the location technology. If you are not familiar with Watson Iot, it's a platform that managed to collect the sensory data or even the application data. So for example, if you have your own app or analytics or whatever the information that you are collecting, using the REST command or the real-time APIs, it will be integrated immediately to the IBM Iot platform. If you don't have this application layer, you can go immediately with the hardware. So your Raspberry Pi, your Arduino, your small system on chip, the SOC products, with the Light MQTT protocol, you can also connect back to the IBM Iot platform. This is like your own one-stop shop when it comes to the IoT sensory data, and then develop your own solutions, further develop your own applications and activities. So what we'll do in the next session, we'll have this type of platform connected to the location. So it's always coupled, yeah. So whenever we have an IoT sensory data moving on the street or asset tracking, for example, moving on the street, you need to get the coordinates, and also you need to do the post analytics out of it using the geocode data. So in the next workshops, it will be 2 sessions for the IoT and location intelligence. We'll go through it. So every Tuesday, exactly at the same time, please stay tuned with us. So if you have any Q&A, let us know. We really appreciate your feedback. I think we have only one question remained for the default layer. If Vidhan can share more information about this. So Vidhan, you still with me?
Yeah, I'm there. Can you repeat
so
the
we have a
query?
question. Yeah, so what's the default layer? What's the concept of the layers?
So basically, when you are calling a map, you're creating a map. What you do is you create different layers. First, you call a platform object, which is able to access all these layers. After that, you define a default layer, which is kind of a base. And on top of that, you call the map. And then on
Awesome.
top of the map, you add all the things. You add the UI, like zoom in, zoom out, different views. You add the marker, you add the icons. You can draw something to create the route option, routing from point A to point B. All those things are done on the map. But map layer is based on default layer.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So we don't have further questions. So thank you for today, and we are always there. You can reach out in Twitter, LinkedIn. You can find us out there, and please don't forget the survey. So you have the QR code. You have it on the Crowdcast. Please give us your feedback.
Yes. So the survey is also at the bottom of the screen. If you don't have a way to scan the QR code, you can just click the button at the bottom.
Yep.
Also, the survey will also be in the reminder email. So I don't want to pester everybody, but that would be the last time we remind you of the survey for this event. And by the way, we do have 4 more events with the wonderful group here. So I'm just going to make sure I don't mess up the dates. Our next event is on August 4th, which is next Tuesday.
Yes. Yes.
So really looking forward to that. And again, all of the links we shared with you today will be in the email as well. So with that, I think I'll close the session. Thank you for keeping in on time, everybody. And this was a great webinar. I'll see you all next time.
Thank you. Thank you for
Thank you,
having
everyone,
us.
and stay
See ya.
safe. Bye-bye.
Stay safe.
Bye.